So this is Tarakan Street. It's the redevelopment of the former 1956 Heidelberg Olympic Village for Homes Victoria. It's funded under the Victorian government's big housing build. It's 130 tenure-blind social and affordable homes with a 50-50 split spread across 3 buildings and arranged around valued existing trees within a new generous garden setting. So we've aimed to rehabilitate the whole block. It's 101.3 hectares and beyond, using social housing with responsible, well-designed density as an exemplar of a missing middle project. So this is an interiors project in a different sort of way, most of which can only be really explained in the plan through the structure and importantly through its flexibility. So social housing, we think, can be seen as an interiors project when viewed through the lens really of what the apartment's interiors do rather than their surface appearance. Although importantly it is tenure blind, so everyone gets the same apartment and finishes. So we focused on 7 themes. We believe that quality housing has an impact on wellbeing and behaviour, so we've provided a 210% increase in homes on the site and maintained an appropriate scale. A really key feature of this project is the wide, shallow apartments with their full-width hobless balconies, which create superior access to sunlight and fresh air. They've got higher NATHERS ratings, like up to 8.3 on our first cut, and they create an interior space of greater quality. And the balcony is large enough to be used as a useful outdoor room. Now, this is in contrast to most apartments which have a short end to the facade or, a square, so they're sort of unusual. Homes Victoria are a retaining owner of the building with a slender maintenance budget, so we've eliminated painted surfaces externally and from all the foyers and corridors using Equitone that doesn't need repainting. It's all electric and the bricks have a 100-year warranty. All 130 dwellings are accessible to Silver Standard. It's Green Star certified, not principles but certified, so indoor air quality is tested for VOC, off-gassing and materials. The acoustic comfort and air tightness is tested. It also has a climate adaptation plan, which you can't see in a photo. Now, a really key innovation of this project is the inbuilt flexibility to combine apartments. So 1/3 of the apartments can be combined inexpensively into larger ones and back again without structural or wet area changes. So this allows people to age in place in smaller apartments and frees up bedrooms for other people. So this solves a real problem of distribution of bedrooms that Homes Victoria currently have. And to do this, the risers and structures are kept outside of the apartment. So this increases the storage space in cupboards and robes because they're not boxed out for columns or risers, and it creates an undulating sort of facade. So each apartment more or less has a facade, and it makes more space for incidental conversation. It also eliminates bulkheads and means that there's cheaper, more efficient service runs. And our flexibility model also means that there's only like-to-like adjacencies in apartments, so which means that bathrooms only abut other bathrooms and bedrooms only abut other bedrooms. So this makes for a greater acoustic performance.
We wanted to acknowledge the history of the site as the former Olympic Village. This is achieved through 4 key devices. Firstly, the introduction of Olympic colours and medals into the interior spaces finishes. The colours of the Olympic rings, which translated into the outdoor play space. And the retention of 20 trees that were planted during the original establishment of the Olympic Village. And lastly, the pale brickwork, which recalls the blonde brick of the original Olympic Village. The project offered the opportunity to prioritise local manufacturing and business. Well, the joinery, for example, was built in Heidelberg, just 1 kilometre from the site, which is quite uncommon when we see a lot these days, joinery built offshore and transported in. Local small businesses were also used for a variety of specifications, including lighting and tapware fixtures, among others. Another example of a locally manufactured light fitting on the left-hand side there. And the carbon neutral bricks, which were made in Wurundjeri, which is around 14 kilometres from the site. With bricks, there does tend to be more carbon used in the transport than the manufacturing process itself, so that was a really critical piece. The result is not only, acknowledging our ability and therefore responsibility to use local products, it did also result in a drastic reduction in embodied energy of the project. This is mainly achieved through the reduction in transport. A critical factor in the success of the project was to give each apartment its own identity and arrival through the entries on the corridor street. And that also followed through to the entries threshold itself, where we designed a bespoke joinery piece that supports that arrival home ritual, hanging up your coat, putting away your keys in your bag, your shoes. And this really worked to reinforce that apartment typology as a long-term home. The low number of apartments per entry allow for small communities to form. The foyers are large enough to be gathering spaces for residents with the introduction of seating elements and the like. There's also a variety of spaces for incidental conversations, often which have nice garden outlooks as well. This diagram demonstrates the mixing of 1, 2 and 3 bedroom apartments. What this offers is a great mix of ages and diversities that results in a true community experience and more vibrant living for the residents. Tarakan Street is an interiors project at its heart. The interiors inform the planning, as Vanessa spoke earlier, about the wide and shallow apartments. There was a real focus on the quality of light and space to rehabilitate a stigmatised site.